Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be ranking 90s Disney's movies that I've seen, 90s Disney animated movies that I've seen. And we have 13 of these movies, so let's just get on right into it so we don't waste any time. So we're gonna be ranking these from best to worst for me. And so the first movie on my list is a Goofy movie. And this movie is just super nostalgic for me. I'm a huge fan of Goofy, the Goof Troop, and then, Max. And honestly, I love Powerline. Like the song at the end for me really does it. I love the father-son dynamic. I feel like all of these are super family oriented, but I feel like this is really something that people can relate to or just have fun watching with their kids, although obviously they might not necessarily like experience this story right in life. But I feel like, as you know, just a teenager, not just a son but a girl or a guy, as a teenager you really feel sometimes like, like you're kind of wanting to do your own thing away from your parents, and then like they're kind of like, you feel sometimes like they're kind of like encroaching on your space, and as a parent you might feel like, oh, you're losing your child, and you kind of want to reel them in, you want to spend more time with them. But I love that in the end they found something, not necessarily something that they enjoy together, but they kind of found the value in each other's feelings and relationships. And so yeah, I just really love this movie. I've watched this movie like a billion times, like literally, I don't know how much. I just thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and that's why it's at number one for me. Okay, so while doing this list, I kind of shocked myself a little bit with how I ended up ranking stuff when I really thought about it. But on this list, number two is actually Hercules, and I really didn't think it would be here. I thought it would be in number five, but I didn't think it would be here. But I definitely think Hercules stands out as, with its artistic themes and, the Greek mythology. Obviously, some things are not necessarily correct in the Greek, within the mythology in the movie, but it's a movie. But yeah, like the music, oh my God, to die for the muses. Just all the music throughout the movie, the storyline. I will find my way. I can go the distance is one of my ultimate favorite songs. I absolutely love all like the muses' music, their voices, just the storyline of a kid not really knowing where he comes from, and then eventually finding out who he is, and still being loyal to both sides when he finds that information out. And I feel like there might be a lot of kids that can also relate to that. Speaking on it, I didn't really think about it that way originally, but yeah, like, this is a movie that I went out of my way to watch on my laptop when I did not have like TV or anything. So like, definitely second on my list for sure. Also feel like it definitely has humor, witty writing, great supporting characters, and it's so rewatchable. And I think kids nowadays would love it as well. And I think, yeah, that's why it's number two. So number three is The Lion King. And this is the movie that I actually thought would be two. I didn't think it would be one. Originally, I was like, maybe I'll put this at one. But I realized that I just really, really love a Goofy movie, and I couldn't do that. But I did think it would be at two, but it's at three for me. This is definitely a childhood movie of mine. I absolutely adore The Lion King. I really do love Scar is my favorite character in this entire movie. I just kind of tend to love villains when they're really done super well. And I think the person who played Scar is amazing. The animation in Lion King is great. It's a testament to why this movie has really stood the test of time, I think. Also, just animal characters. I think kids love animal animations. But the fact that I still love this movie as an adult says a lot. Don't get me started on the music. I know every song in this movie word for word. Also from The Lion King 2, which is not on this list. And I know that's kind of not really controversial, but some people don't really love Lion King 2 as much. But we're not talking about that. But yeah, I know these songs word for word for word. And yeah, no, and some of the lines too in the movie. But yeah, I absolutely love The Lion King. To be honest with you, I don't really have a negative thing to say about The Lion King. Like, I really do think it's a cinematic masterpiece. I know some people might disagree, but I really do think so, and I really genuinely feel that way. I think it does stand out for its, like, you know, it's sweeping African landscapes, you know, the scenery. I feel like it does have emotional depth, like a child losing their parent, and kind of what the journey they go on and the experience they have as they grow up. And we get to see that with Simba and how he kind of copes with that. The soundtrack, like I said, Elton John, songwriter Hans Zimmer, like the score, absolutely amazing. I can go on and on, but this video would be too long, so we're gonna move on to number 4, which is Beauty and the Beast. I have a confession to make. What really made me truly fall in love with this movie was the live action. And I know a lot of people do not like the live action. They don't think Emma Watson was the right person to play Belle. They don't think that she did a good job. Listen, I love Emma Watson as an actress, and I loved Beauty and the Beast, the live action. However, going back to the animated movie, I've always loved the animated movie, but when I rewatched it after watching the live action, it actually made me love the animated movie even more. I absolutely love the outfits that they put the characters in. The ballroom scene is one of the most beautiful scenes, and I think for me, kind of one of the most touching endings. It's really weird because it's like, okay, it's not that like it's that touching of a movie, but I really do feel like, you know, the ending scene really gets to me every time in the ballroom. There is some slightly darker themes, not really like that dark, but you know, being trapped, and you know, there's lessons to be learned throughout Beauty and the Beast. I feel like a few that I might not necessarily I won't get into in this video. But yeah, I really truly appreciate this movie. But yeah, I enjoy like the details, the castle, the interiors. I feel like a lot of thought, especially in design, was put into this movie, and I can really appreciate that. Number 5 on this list is actually Mulan. One of my favorite songs is in this movie, and that's Reflection. Well, at least one of my songs that used to be one of my favorite songs. I auditioned for a school singing this song. But I've grown to love I'll Make a Man Out of You. That's an amazing song. There's a guy on YouTube who sings the song in a rock version, and I will put his name here because it's amazing. But that's besides the point. I love Mulan. I love the step that she takes, and I feel like it's a great example of courage, and not just for young girls, but for kids of any age. You know, an example of courage, not necessarily saying that that's the type of step she should have taken, but I love that it was more so courage for her, like taking a step out of the box for somebody that she loved, despite what people thought that she should be. And I think that's a great message to send to kids and to anyone. There's also some great comedy throughout this movie. Obviously, we know we got Eddie Murphy, who plays the dragon. Yeah, it's, again, more darker toned than the movies that are before it. So I wouldn't say that that's the reason why that's mid-list. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit less nostalgic for me. It doesn't mean the movie is bad. I really enjoy Mulan, but I enjoy the others more. Number 6 is actually Tarzan. Um, this movie, every time I think about this movie, I think about come stop your crying, it will be all right. And like, oh, that man who wrote that song, I believe he wrote a lot of other Disney songs. Or the man that sings that song, rather. I think he sang a lot of other Disney songs. I'm not sure, but I believe so, because I feel like I've heard his voice in a lot of other things. Amazing song. I feel like I love the storyline, though obviously not realistic. I like that we see that Tarzan definitely appreciates the family that he grew up with, and that though they may have treated him slightly differently, like he doesn't actually ever turn his back on them, even when, you know, you see like the new love interests come on screen. Oh, guy's name is Phil Collins. Phil Collins soundtrack. Yes, he is amazing. It's adventurous. It's emotional. I think also maybe those vine swinging sequences, I feel like that might have been kind of groundbreaking for Disney at the time, in animation. I think that's one of those things that really like draw your eye, especially as a child. It's like, oh my God, that's so cool. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's slightly lower just because, I don't know, I guess it might be less quotable than the other movies that are before it. Like there's nothing that necessarily stands out to me in the storyline per se, or anything any of the characters say throughout the movie, but I do really enjoy this movie and hold it dear to my heart, and that's why I could never put it any lower than where it's at. Number 7 on this story is Aladdin. Now, because there's other movies that are definitely below Aladdin on this list, I couldn't, in my heart of hearts, I could not put Aladdin any lower. But also, I didn't really necessarily have a connection to Aladdin per se. The only song that I love in this movie is A Whole New World. It's one of the first songs I learned on the piano all the way through. Probably one of the only songs I learned on the piano all the way through, back in high school. And there's just nothing else I've ever learned on the piano all the way through. But yes, I think the visuals of Aladdin are stunning. If you ever go see the Broadway of Aladdin, I do have a whole lot of qualms about the Broadway, but one thing I will say is the visuals are great. And they did take that from the movie. Genie to me is the one that stands out in this movie. Genie is the standout in this movie. It's not Aladdin or Jasmine, though I think the animation for Jasmine amazing. I love the animation for Jasmine. But yeah, there's nothing really about this movie. Again, kind of like Tarzan, but it doesn't actually emotionally connect with me, Aladdin, and I don't really know why exactly. But yeah, Aladdin has to be 7 on this list for me. I know it's definitely a beloved classic for sure, and I know there's a ton of people who love Aladdin. It's just not me. And yeah, we're not going to talk about the overexposure of Aladdin and how they kind of just ruined it with all these excessive spin-offs. But yeah, Aladdin's at number 7. Okay, number 8, I have a confession. I haven't seen it all the way through, or maybe I think I have at my job, but I just didn't pay attention to it in full, just because I felt like I promised someone I would watch it with them, and I haven't. But you know, people wanted to watch it in my job, and I just couldn't have it in my heart of hearts to watch it all the way through. And number 8, that's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Who knows? Maybe when I actually pay attention to it in full, it'll be higher or lower. Who knows? I will say I've heard the music, and even outside of it being put on, like for me to watch, and I actually really think the music is phenomenal. I think it's stop motion animation. I think that is like amazing. The opening sequence, I think it's what, Jack Skeleton? Skeleton? I think that's his name. Yo, like I think that introduction song, phenomenal. I don't know whoever thought of the idea for this movie. I think like their mind super creative. I couldn't put this lower because I really do appreciate artistry, and I think the artistry in this movie is just great. It's definitely a dark fantasy tone. I know me as a child would have been a punk and too scared to watch this movie, which is probably why I haven't actually watched it for real, or wanted to watch it until now. Um, I think it's a more seasonal niche for sure. You can watch it anytime you want, but I know it's definitely a more seasonal niche, and maybe that's why like it's kind of like not low, but at where it is right now on the list. Okay, so numbers 9 and 10 is Toy Story and Toy Story 2. I know I think I put Toy Story on a list in a previous video for non-Disney, but it's kind of controversial because I know Pixar own like is made like the story for the franchise, but I think Disney like produced it or released it. But yeah, I think Toy Story, friendship story, with Andy and his toys, super touching. Toy Story 2, not too much for me. It was Jesse's backstory. I don't remember it completely. I do remember enjoying it, and I definitely like it more than the other three on this list that we're kind of gonna speed through. So number 11 is A Bug's Life. I do love A Bug's Life. The story is hilarious, just not as good as the rest for me. I think I've seen it maybe twice in my adulthood. And so, yeah, that's where it's at for me. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The only reason it's not last on this list is because I hate the last movie the most. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I don't really like the movie that much. I feel like it's too dark for me. I hated this movie as a child. Can't really relate. I don't really like it. I haven't seen it in years. Maybe I should rewatch it. And Pocahontas at number 13, The Inaccuracy. It's a super boring movie, by the way. And I kind of feel like it's kind of insulting to the actual story of Pocahontas. So that's why it's number 13. So yeah. Yeah. So those are my rankings for Disney movies from the 90s, Disney animated movies from the 90s that I have seen. I kind of sped through those last three because I don't really have any genuine feelings that are that great for these movies. So yeah, if you have seen any of these movies and you want to rank them, put your ranking down below. Let me know. I'm so curious, and let me know what else you would want me to review in the future because I will do it. Yeah, so that's it and that's all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.